Donkey free kick. In 1970, Coventry City pulled off a free kick routine that had the entire football world shaking its head in disbelief. Willie Carr crouched over the ball, gripped it between his ankles, and flicked it up into the air. Waiting just a few steps away, teammate Ernie Hunt smashed it on the volley straight past Everton's keeper. The crowd erupted, commentators lost it, and the move went straight into highlight reels. This was creativity at its cheekiest. Carr basically turned his legs into a catapult, and Hunt fired the cannon. The goal was instantly named the BBC's goal of the season, and fans loved it. For a moment, Coventry looked like mad geniuses rewriting how dead balls could be played. But behind the scenes, officials were fuming. The Football Association reviewed the trick and quickly decided it gave an unfair advantage. By the following year, the move was banned under changes to free kick procedure rules, so the donkey free kick became a one-hit wonder, celebrated in highlight shows, outlawed in the law book. Seal Dribble. In the mid-2000s, Brazilian forward Kerlon burst onto the scene with a trick that looked more like street performance than football. He would flick the ball onto his forehead, balance it, and then start running, bouncing the ball as he went, like a seal in a circus act. Defenders couldn't get near him without risking a foul. Try tackling low and you'd smash his face. Go high and you'd miss entirely. For a few seconds, Kerlon turned the pitch into his own one-man show. Fans loved it, but opponents, not so much. The seal dribble sparked outrage because there was no fair way to defend against it. Some opponents resorted to violence. One Atletico Mineiro defender famously elbowed Kerlon in the face during a match, earning a 5-game suspension. Others hacked him down just to stop the run. Referees had a nightmare on their hands. According to Law 12, anything that puts an opponent at risk can be called playing in a dangerous manner. The seal dribble sat right on that line. Technically legal, but it made defenders so desperate that chaos followed. The perfect example of a move many argue should be banned outright. Paradinha Penalty. Brazil has always been the land of flair, and the penalty spot was no exception. The move known as the Paradinha, which literally means little stop, started decades ago with players like Didi and Pelé. The idea was simple: run up to the penalty, pause mid-stride, wait for the keeper to dive, and then calmly slot the ball the other way. It was cheeky, it was effective, and for goalkeepers, it was pure torture. Neymar revived the move on the big stage, adding his trademark swagger to it. The problem was that keepers were being humiliated, and referees had no consistent way to call it. By 2010, FIFA had seen enough. A new rule came in. If you faint during the run-up, that's fine. If you faint after you've completed your run-up, meaning you stop completely to trick the keeper, that's illegal. The penalty is cancelled, the kicker gets a yellow card, and the keeper breathes a sigh of relief. For Neymar and countless Brazilian players, the Paradinha became a cultural talking point. Was it unfair gamesmanship, or just another chapter in Brazil's long history of improvisation? Either way, FIFA made their position clear. The skill didn't just shake defenders, it shook the rulebook, and today it's officially banned. Rainbow flick. Few tricks capture football's flair quite like the rainbow flick. The move is simple in theory, but devastating in practice. Roll the ball up the back of your calf, then flick it over your own head in an arc, launching it past the defender. Pull it off cleanly and the crowd goes wild. Miss it, and you look like you're auditioning for a circus. Neymar turned the rainbow flick into his calling card. In Brazil, fans cheered it as pure artistry, the kind of trick that makes the sport beautiful. But in Europe, the reception was a lot colder. In 2015 against Athletic Bilbao, Neymar tried it late in the Copa del Rey final when Barcelona were already winning, and defenders exploded with anger, confronting him on the spot. In League One, referees even booked him for provocation after pulling the trick near the corner flag. The rainbow flick sits in a strange space. It's not against the laws of the game, but referees have the power to caution it under unsporting behavior if they think it's mocking opponents. Downground header. Every so often, you'll see a player dive so low for the ball that they put their head right where boots are flying. That's the downground header, or the low head pass, and it's as gutsy as it is dangerous. The idea is simple. Get your head to the ball before an opponent can clear it with their foot. Pull it off and you might win possession. Mistime it and you're looking at a stud to the skull. Referees hate these moments, as a boot swinging can be called playing in a dangerous manner. If no contact is made, it's usually an indirect free kick. If contact does happen, the foul gets harsher, anything from a direct free kick to cards, depending on how bad it looks. Basically, the rulebook says bravery is fine, but risking your own face isn't. The move has popped up in matches across Europe and South America, often leaving defenders in disbelief. Was it courage or recklessness? Coaches might applaud the sacrifice, but referees are quick to blow the whistle because of the obvious safety risk. Showboating. Showboating is football's version of trash talk, except you do it with your feet. Think stepovers with no end product, juggling in the middle of a match, or pulling tricks just to wind up the opponent. Fans in the stands eat it up, but the guy trying to defend against it, he's usually ready to throw a kick of his own. Neymar has been the modern poster boy for showboating. At Paris Saint-Germain, he'd pull roulette, or juggling routines in games that were already under control. Sometimes the crowd roared, other times referees stepped in. The logic? The referee saw it as disrespect, even though no rulebook bans the skill itself. Flip throw in. Every once in a while, football gives you a skill that looks straight out of gymnastics. The flip throw in is exactly that. Instead of a normal run-up, the player grips the ball, does a front flip, and uses the momentum to launch it like a missile into the box. The result? A throw that travels farther than some corner kicks. The trick has shown up in youth tournaments, college games, and even pro matches. American defender Michael Lewis made it popular in the 1990s, and highlights of players pulling it off in international youth cups still pop up online. Done right, it's spectacular. The crowd gasps, the ball soars, and defenders suddenly feel like they're defending a set piece rather than a throw-in. But the move has always lived in controversy. The laws of the game demand both feet be on the ground at release and the throw come from behind the head. Referees have debated whether the flip violates those rules since the player uses the ground as a springboard. Most allow it if the feet are set on release, but plenty argue it bends the spirit of a throw-in. That's why many believe the flip throw-in should be banned. It's a loophole, technically legal if executed perfectly, but way outside the normal expectations of the game. The penalty pass. This has seen its fair share of drama, but few ideas have shocked crowds like the penalty pass. Instead of blasting the ball at goal, the taker simply rolls it sideways for a teammate to run onto. Done perfectly, it feels like football's version of a con game. The keeper dives one way, the teammate buries it the other, and defenders are left scratching their heads. Johan Cruyff pulled it off first in 1982 with Ajax, linking up with Jesper Olsen in a move that instantly went into football folklore. Decades later, Lionel Messi and Luis Suárez revived it for Barcelona against Celta Vigo in 2016, sending the Camp Nou into chaos. But it doesn't always work. Arsenal legends Thierry Henry and Robert Pires tried it in 2005 against Manchester City and completely botched it, earning laughter instead of applause. The move itself isn't illegal as long as the ball moves forward and another player takes the shot, but that hasn't stopped referees, fans and pundits from arguing over whether it's unsporting. For goalkeepers, it feels unfair. For teammates, it's a massive gamble. And for the audience, it's either genius or disaster, nothing in between. Running knee lock. Every now and then, a move from freestyle football tries to sneak its way into the professional game. The running knee lock is one of those, a flashy stunt where a player traps the ball between both knees while running, locking it in place as if glued to their legs. It looks cool in street shows or viral videos, but in a real match it raises eyebrows. For starters, there's the practicality. You're slow, you're stiff, and you can't pass or shoot until you release the ball. Defenders don't need to guess what you're doing, they just need to wait for you to run out of space. And then there's the safety angle. Charging down the pitch with your knees clamped together invites collisions, studs, and a very awkward landing if you're tackled. That's why the running knee lock has never taken off in top-level football. It's not explicitly banned in the laws, but referees could easily call it playing in a dangerous manner. The same rule that covers low headers and risky overhead kicks applies here too, and that's it. Is there a skill move that I missed? I bet there is none. If you enjoyed watching this video, you'll surely love this one.